Hello, hello! Welcome, everyone! We are live together! And for those of you joining us on replay, bienvenue! Thanks so much for being part of this special session with a special guest. Now listen, because everyone and their grandmothers are on the World Wide Web, if we get disconnected, just stay right where you are. I'm going to hop on off, scoot back on, and we'll pick up right where we left off. Because that's what entrepreneurs do. We make it happen. So welcome. Drop us a little emoji. Shout yourself out. Let us know where you're connecting from. We're so excited you're here. And I am going to check the messages here on my desktop. That was a great transition. My desktop. All right, Steph, where are you? That was a great transition. Oh, I am repeating. There we go. I muted myself. Waiting for Steph to hop on. So today we're going to talk about personal branding and networking, how to be authentic.
Hi.
Hey, girl.
How are you today?
I'm great. You're flipped though. You're sideways.
Oh, I'm sideways? Oh no. I'm straight up and down over here. Hold on. Let's see. When I tested this earlier, it worked, but oh man, now it's not. I don't want to be sideways the whole time.
No problem.
Okay, let's see. Give me a second. Hi.
Welcome everyone. Minton,
Well, hello
in
everyone.
the house. Leslie in the house. Myra, you made it. Yay. I'm already getting hot in here. I'm going to take my little jacket off.
Oh, your shirt is so cute. Look at the little glitter.
Thanks,
I love
girl.
it.
I like yours.
Oh, thank you.
I like the pink. So while Steph is getting situated, today we're going to be talking about personal branding and how to be authentic when you network. When it comes to building a network, there's only one way and one way only to do it, and that's by being, hey, there you are.
Hi, we're back.
You're back. So it's by being authentic, both offline and online. And how we show authentically, how do we show authentically authentic? By knowing what makes us, our personal brand. So I'm so excited to have Stephanie Real from RielDeal Marketing join us today to discuss all things personal brand, because yes, you have a personal brand, as do I, as does Steph, and we'll get to see how we can apply it to our personal connections as well as our professional connections. So, Steph, the floor is yours.
I am so pumped to be here today. This is such an exciting way to bring us together. I'm really jazzed, and what a great topic. What a fun topic to talk about. So we're going to talk all about our own personal brands. And if any of you are watching live or on the replay and you're like, I have a brand, what are you talking about? I have maybe you're a business owner, maybe you're not. Maybe you're just catching it on the live and you want to know how to make a better connection and have a better network that you can align with. Well, you have a brand, and I want to talk a little bit about that, and then I know we'll talk a little bit more about really what that means and to be able to position you to make the best connections possible.
That's right.
So first, kind of when I'm thinking, and I'm a brand strategist. I work with brands at all business stages and really help them get their messaging on point and identify those different marketing and sales pieces to align and get them the best results possible. And so I gleaned from that experience to think about that personal brand, and it's really not that much different. So being able to first know who you are and know that value that you bring. If you're a brand strategist, your brand value might be a little bit different than if you are a clothing boutique owner or if you are really into health and wellness. And so really knowing kind of who you are and what that value is that you bring thinking about your passions, what you're interested in, and really being able to take a lot of time to understand what that is and how you want to position yourself and what you want to be known for in online now more than ever, but offline too, in those real life conversations.
Diving deep introspection.
Absolutely. Maybe it's journaling, maybe you're jumping on a whiteboard and you're brainstorming kind of all of those different things about different brands or people that you really admire and what values and qualities they have. And also what passions that you have and how that all comes together.
And if I can add something, when it comes to networking, self-awareness is important. When you smile,
so important.
I just want to jump around. Your smile makes me like boost.
I love it.
Self-awareness is super important because it affects the way others perceive you as well. Absolutely. And trust you. And if you inverse the roles and you meet someone and it doesn't seem like they're authentic, you're not going to trust them, or better yet, trust their offering. It impacts how you develop relationships. And as well, the best way to network is to leverage your strength. When you know how you shine, when you know what you're the strongest at, you're able to help other people. And that's a secret in networking. Is the currency of real networking is not greed but service. So
I love that. I love that. Well, it's so cool to me to hear you say that, because a lot of that is very consistent for a brand too. Especially that authenticity piece. If we're not authentic in what we do, we don't trust ourselves either. We don't, and that shines through for the brand. If you really want to be, known as a thought leader in your space, but you're not showing up consistently either, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing those potential connections, you're doing your audience a disservice, all of the above. So it's really, that self-awareness is key and critical for your brand and for that piece too, and building that brand.
100%. The more you know yourself, the more you can have an impact.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that really leads into kind of my second point. And when I'm working with businesses a lot, it's important for us to know kind of, when we're thinking about it from the business side, what they offer, what that value is that they bring. But the thing that I always like to work with business owners about, and this really relates for personal brand as well, is why you're doing it. Why do you want to be selling X, Y, and Z? Or on the personal side, why do you want to be making these connections? Why do you want to be connecting with this specific group? Because that really matters, and that helps drive that purpose for you.
Bye, Jeanette. She's popping in just to say hi, and then
hi and bye.
Back on the replay. Knowing your why. I think something that stuck with me is Simon Sinek's what was it called again? Start with why.
Yes.
And he was saying it's not what you do that people buy, it's why you do it. And so many people, so many organizations don't know their purpose. They don't know why they're getting up in the morning, and why should somebody care, Know your why.
Yeah. That is something that when an audience, or, when your people know why you're doing something, it just makes that connection so much stronger. And that's so beneficial for not only if you're trying to sell something and, you're trying to build your own business or your own brand, or if you're just trying to network and connect with the right people too. Getting really clear on that mission is imperative.
It actually just made me think. I attended a webinar from the I Start First bootcamp, and I love it. It was so good. Shout
out to Olenka. She's the best.
Shout out Olenka. I don't know if she's on, but shout out, girl. And we had like a financial planning session within the bootcamp, and the person was saying, I forgot her name, but she challenged us to think of what was our financial goal for the year of 2020, and I was really having a hard time with that. And so she asked me, why? And I said, well, because my why is I want to change the world. I want to make a difference in this world. So it's more of a philanthropical aspect to it. And she's like, well, that's a great way to see it. So think of how much you want to donate, how much you want to make so that you can donate to an association that will have that impact. And so it recalibrates everything that you do. It also translates in everything.
Oh yeah. Having that perspective shift and that mindset, just being able to think of it in that different of a way, game changer.
Game changer.
Same thing for your personal brand though too. You know, I think that so many of us, we have those, sometimes we can get stuck in those limiting beliefs of, oh, well, I can't do this or I can't do that. The moment you think that, as you know, I know you know this too, Agatha, the moment you think that, you're already setting yourself up to already be in that wrong zone. So changing that perspective, having that shift, it's crucial.
Yep. And what you do serves as the belief, serves as the proof to do what you believe. Does that make sense? What you do serves as the proof of what you believe. And people will follow inspiration and inspired leaders. So why is crucial.
Absolutely. That positivity. It's so important.
Yeah.
That wasn't even on my bullet point list, but it is the most important thing. Because we have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe in the brand and what we're doing. And I think that rings true. People can see that right from the start. So that's so important.
Indeed. What's next? So
the next thing, once you know who you are, thinking about and finding that entourage, that group that you really want to be a part of, your tribe, those people that you see and you emulate and you really want to connect with. You know, maybe it's, you know, on a friend level, maybe it's you aspire to be like them. It's more of a mentorship or a role model kind of a relationship. But who are those people? You know, I know we talked about this before, Agatha, but that quote and that saying, the 5 people you spend the most time with, oh my gosh, it's so true. And it's true for a personal brand too, because with all of us as individuals having a brand, that means that we all are giving off these different messages. And if you're trying to elevate and get to this level, but you're hanging out, you know, and not maybe being around people that are going to get you there, that perspective can be a game changer, and it really can change people's opinion of you along the way too, and keep you and hold you back.
There's a famous quote from, the all-time guru on the planet, Tony Robbins. He says that proximity is power, and who you spend your time with is who you become. And like you said, it was drilled in our heads, in our minds when we did our little training together about the average of the 5 people. Who you surround yourself with is who you become. You want to be successful, surround yourself with successful people. You want to be inspired, surround yourself with people that inspire you. And might I add in networking that people notice your company. So for better, for worse, whoever you surround yourself with is a direct reflection of who you are. And there's such a strong power in association, whether it's positive or negative. So my challenge for this bullet point number 3 would be to think of the world you want to create as a person, as a networker, as a professional, and what does that look like as your highest, most authentic self. And to say it raw and clinically, start auditing. Start auditing your circle of influence.
That is it's a crucial move for anybody, because a lot of times we don't even realize that influence and that connection. And it is sometimes the most impactful piece that we have going on in our day-to-day.
Indeed. What's next? Just drop fire.
You know, now that you know, once you kind of have the chance to know your why, know what that value you bring is and what those unique qualities that you have are, and then you know who you want to be connecting with and what you want to kind of build from that, then you can think about what and how you want to represent that to the world. So, you know, a lot of times that could be with a color. As you'll see, I'm wearing pink. I mean, my nails are pink, my lips are pink, my dress is pink. Pink everywhere.
Girlfriend.
Oh my gosh, we're all pink today. But that's not only is that a part of my brand and a part of the brand that I've been building for the last 12 years online. Gosh, crazy. but also it's a color that makes me happy. It makes me perform the best. And I really think that, those bright, energetic colors really align well with me and what I look to build: enthusiasm, excitement. And so when you're thinking about yourself and what you could bring to the table, maybe it is you wear a signature color every time you go to a networking event, or maybe if you do a photo shoot for your Instagram, or you're posting something for social media content, you're wearing a specific color, or, maybe you have a specific object in with you, maybe a notebook or a journal, something that's really key and crucial to what you offer and what you do. Maybe it's also how you're showing up online, not just in what you're wearing, but are you going to jump on a live and be excited and bubbly and smiley and happy? Or are you going to jump on a live and kind of tell it like it is and give some hard truths? That all kind of, those different pieces, really being that and having that understanding of who you are in that background lets you see how you can bring it out into your everyday life, not only offline, maybe when we're allowed to have groups and events again, and you're at a networking function, how you're going to show up there, but especially right now, how you're showing up online, and every post and every comment and every interaction, and even the people that you're connecting with in some of the online groups that you're on, and really how you're showing up there too, and really being intentional, because that consistency, that's how you'll build that trust with your potential connections, but it's also how you build trust with yourself too. And I know we kind of already touched on that, but that authenticity is 100% what builds a brand or what breaks a brand.
I think you should say every bullet point, because repetition is key, girlfriend. And that's such a good point. I love how you said how you want others to feel. Like, it makes you feel excited and energized. So how you show up, your brand, how do you want others to feel? I feel like my personal brand is definitely the European flair in how I dress, how I talk, how I write.
Absolutely.
But it makes me think also of the law of attraction. Like attracts like, right? And if you want high vibrational friends or even clients, how are you going to show up? How are you going to show up to the universe for it to attract in everything that you do, or the opposite? Preach.
100%. When I think it fills my heart to think that there's so many things that align with our spiritual selves and our professional selves too. And I know spirituality means something different to so many people, but just that general thought of that high vibration, that positivity, that, being open, not, having that abundance mindset of things are good, things are coming, that things are aligning for you, that makes all the difference. And you want to align yourself with people that are like that if you have that mindset. If you're around someone that doesn't have that mindset, or is maybe on, more of a negative vibe, that can bring down the whole energy of everything. And so really getting clear on what that is that you want, and then going after it and being consistent in how you show up, because that's how people are going to come to know you and expect you to be. And it's critical for your personal brand and for people to trust you and to want to engage with you. But it's paramount for the networking side too, isn't it, Agatha?
It is. It's, what's that quote that Anna always said? How you show up consistently to the world is how, I could never retain it, and it's so good.
How is it the how you do one thing is how you do everything?
Yes. So keep on showing up, even if sometimes you have low days and you're like, oh God, I just want to be negative Nancy today and just let it out, which is fine. You can have that. But I would say show up consistently as your highest, most vibrational self, because that'll reflect in everything that you do and what you attract.
100%. And maybe on those days that you're not feeling as high vibe, maybe you don't post as much, or maybe you don't jump on an Instagram story. Maybe you kind of focus that energy inward and really figure out what's going on for you and what's coming up, so that you can show up better the next time. Because that the biggest piece there is if you're just kind of going through the motions, people can tell. Even on a post, we can all kind of get that energy from from others, which is why social media is such a good thing and a bad thing. It can be used for so much good. But there are so many of those keyboard warriors behind the scenes that just spew that negativity too. And that energy is contagious. So people can tell, absolutely. And if it's not 100% you're feeling it, then maybe you just hold that post for another day and focus on something else that can really help bring your spirits back up. We all have low days, and that's 100% okay.
We're human.
We're human. Yes, exactly.
Agrees.
Or some of us are puppies too, and that's okay. But yes, we're all human, and that is absolutely understandable. But making sure that you're authentic in that, and if you're comfortable being vulnerable in those moments too, that'll build more of a connection and a better connection for your personal brand than faking it until you make it.
That is so good. That is so good. So we aspire to be our highest, most authentic self, highest vibrational. But when we have down days, show up as that person, not to take the energy from others, but just to be vulnerable. Because like you said, people will buy from, whether, you can't say buy from in a friendship, but in a product, and a professional endeavor, from people they like, know, and trust. And if you're able to show your most authentic self, which is when you're down, and you show it, not to, again, suck out energy, but just to say, hey, I'm just having a tough day today. This pandemic is hitting me, and I'm human, and I'm still there for you guys. People will tend to trust that person even more and want to be that person, want to follow that person.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
because it shows that we're all human. I think that's on social media and online especially, a lot of times we show our best self. And I really respect when somebody says, I'm having a hard time keeping it together today, because I have a hard time keeping it together some days. Life is stressful, and especially with all that's going on in the world right now, it can be a very scary time, and it can be very overwhelming. And it's important to kind of protect our own energy and really know what's best for us. And that really shines through in our personal brands so much, whether you believe it or not. That vibe that you're giving off on even a social media post or in a blog post or in an email that you're sending or in a comment that you're leaving in a Facebook group, people, that external touch point, that external touch point, it touches somebody, it reaches somebody, it has an effect. And so being able to be consistent in that really is, that's the biggest and that's the most important takeaway for a personal brand. You could decide a color, but if if I decided my color was pink and that's what I wanted to wear, but then I never wore it, well, nobody would know. But, I go to events, conferences, things like that, and I wear bright colors. I have a colleague, and he's a speaker, and he wears bright yellow and black and all, and very edgy, very him colors. And even when I see his shoes, I can know that it's him because of that consistency. And that's the kind of personal branding that you can achieve, whether you have a business or not. And having that attract and being consistent with the people that you want to connect with, which is so major.
It's funny that you talk about shoes, because it made me think of a political figure in my home country, Belgium. He always wears bow tie. And it's Mr. Bow Tie. You just know that's him. Whatever color, but it's actually always one color if I think about it. But it's the bow tie.
But you know it. You know it right off the bat.
Yep.
A bow tie is a great way to personal brand yourself, actually.
Yeah? Men out there. No doubt.
This is really random, but I did a lot of work in the student housing space years and years and years ago. But we worked a lot with West Virginia University and their president at the time. I don't know if he's still the president or not. I don't remember his name, but when you said bow ties, I immediately saw his face in my mind. And because he wears bow ties for everything, every university video, every commencement, everything. Bow ties are part of his signature on brand look. And I don't even know the man. I did not go to university there. And I still know that about him, and it's a connection point. So
top of mind.
It's just an example of that personal brand and how you can really put it into action for yourself, no matter how you want to connect.
I'm looking at the comments at the same time.
I know. We've had a couple questions come in. I know, because that kind of wraps up what I say.
Well, don't you have a number 5? I know, it's be intentional. You said it.
Yes, I already said it. So I'm ahead of myself, but yes.
Perfect. Okay.
Oh, and Mila said that President Eastman at Eckerd College, he's known for his bow ties too. So bow ties are where it's all at. Maybe I need a bow tie.
I mean, trends come and go, and I mean, everything's
bow ties never go away.
No. That's right, Myla. I'm so glad you made it. Myla was supposed to. Myla is my leadership CMP program, and she was supposed to be on a call, and she's here. I'm so excited.
We won't tell anyone that you skipped the call to be with us. We appreciate it, though.
We won't tell. What happens on
we
IGTV
won't tell anyone.
stays on IGTV.
Yeah, we won't tell anyone.
I think Alex had some questions.
Yeah, I saw that some questions popped up in the feed, and if anybody is still on and has any questions, put them in the chat too, because we'll get to those right now.
So how do you recommend going from a minimal online brand to a robust one? If you never post online, do you go straight into the short essay posts about what you care about, or ease into it authentically?
Always ease into it authentically. You know, I think that there's a time and a place for those robust posts that you can do, but you want to be able to test the waters a little bit for yourself and feel what feels right. If you don't post all that often, you got to play around with it a little bit and just do it. Just, post and see how that feels for you. And if it feels like, I could have given more on that post, then next time you can try a little bit more. But don't be forced into trying one certain type of post or, a certain type of a length of a caption. At the end of the day, the character count is much less important depending on the message that you have to give. If it only needs a couple of sentences or a couple of words, use that. But you can figure out what that right blend is for you. That'd be my advice.
And I love how you said, just do it. Just get it done.
Yeah.
And one quote that I love is ready as a lie. Ready as a lie. You're never going to be ready. If you wait for the perfect moment, which I'm a recovered perfectionist. So
I know. You and me both. It's okay. We both are there.
Ready as a lie. You got to start with a first post, a first podcast, a first live, which this is my first live hosting Boss Babe Stephanie.
This is my first live where I've been co-host with, or, been on like this. So, we just did it. We're doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. Ready as a lie. And that's how you get better and better. That's how, one of the number one, one of the top values, speaking of values, back to your bullet point number one, of a networker is audacity. You got to put yourself out there. You got to transpire, the word, fears. The more you do, the better you'll get at it. And the more you'll feel confident about it too, and more authentic, because you'll find
Absolutely. Well, and the more that you try to do, and just try it, you can see what feels right for you and develop that consistency along the way. Because it's a lot easier to be consistent with something if it feels true to you and it feels like you're really being authentic. If you're forcing it or you're just going through the motions, it's harder to keep consistent with that.
Oh yeah. Myla said, done is better than perfect. That's
absolutely
right,
it is. I know. That's a lesson that we all are still learning in some ways, and that's okay. Here we are today, Agatha. We're just doing it. We're just here. We're doing it, and I think that's great.
We are. Puppies barking in the background.
I'm surprised you haven't heard. I'm surprised you haven't heard mine yet. I know, it was all set up. I tested it earlier. It was great, and then I don't know what happened, but
it's
Ginger.
Ginger she has something.
She just wants to contribute.
She wants. So I thought about. I can see behind the scenes. You want it raw? I considered putting her in a bedroom, and I actually close off all the blinders there because she loves squirrels, and squirrels are feasting in my garden. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna close that off, and I considered putting her in a bedroom. But then when Miss is not happy, she barks too. So I was like, what are my better odds? Keeping her with me.
No.
Okay, any more questions? Oh, Charles was on as well. I'm scrolling through.
Leslie just asked, what would you recommend for micro influencers to increase followers while attracting authentic followers? My number one recommendation for that is engagement, and doing that by hashtag. So this is specific for Instagram, Leslie. But using some of the Instagram hashtags that you're using on your captions and in your posts, jumping out, using the search functionality, finding other people that are posting about those, no matter the number of followers they have, and jumping into the conversation. Maybe they're posting, Leslie, I know Leslie Lair Living has a organizing business and tips, and she does, she helps me
magic.
With my,
she does magic.
My office. She gave me all these different tips to help me. But so for you, Leslie, if you're using hashtags around organization or maybe a room refresh or office decor, things like that, jumping into those specific topics, and maybe there's an Instagram account that's talking about, you know, their own renovation project or refresh project, jumping in and saying, you know, I love what you did there. You know, maybe there's, I know you love the color blue. Maybe there's something blue in the scene or in the space that you could comment and say, oh, I love how you use that blue, or whatever it might be. But really spending a consistent amount of time on that per week. And that'll help not only increase your following, but really attracting those authentic followers that are going to stay, not just the ones that come for giveaways or just, you know, kind of that one-off experience.
So what would, I missed her question and it's not populating on my desktop.
Oh, so it says, what would you recommend for micro influencers to increase followers while attracting authentic followers?
Okay.
And so a very strategic, tactical thing would be the engagement piece on those comments.
Can I add something to that? Because
of course.
I saw her just pop in. Where is she? Christina. What is your MMLLNNL? That's her handle.
I see. I see it.
She had mentioned something to me as well that I recently shared on a little IGTV is go on 3 targeted audience. The first is your niche and find hashtags that are pertinent to your niche, your location, and your ideal clients. And exactly what Steph said, go see, so find them through those hashtags and then look at not the top posts, but the recent posts, and then go through and see what attracts you, where you see you relate, where you see you can add value, and comment on their posts, comment on their photos, exactly what Steph said.
Yes, you can, for instruction on how to tactically do exactly what we're talking about. When you go into the Discover tab on Instagram, you can search a hashtag and then it'll bring up, it has a tab that says recent and a tab, the first tab that comes up is top. And so that's going to be the top images or videos of all time. So those could go back a couple of years. The recent post is going to give you those most recent as they're happening in real time, which is always great because then your comments can be relevant. And really finding a way to add that value, like Agatha was saying, you know, maybe it's commenting about, you know, giving a compliment. People love compliments, even if it's on their home space, or on, you know, on their outfit, whatever it might be. Taking the time to go through and add that value. And yes, doing that by a couple of different tiers. I actually have a worksheet on my website on social media engagement, and it goes through the steps for that. So if anybody's interested in more information on that, you can go to the website, and in my online shop, there's actually a worksheet download there that you can brainstorm some of those topics for yourself and then use them to engage.
Nice. I will put all of your details once I post the IGTV, so that people can easily find you.
Perfect. It's RielDealMarketing.com, but it's RielDeal. So it's a pun, but it's also a tongue twister when it comes to spelling it. Well, that didn't make sense, but you know what I mean.
Because it's your last name, like a real
deal. It is, yes.
Your last name
I was born with it. I was born with it, and I'll have it forever. So there you go.
I love it. And Leslie, one more thing. When you go and engage, number 1 is add value. Again, what I said, I think it was when we were talking about our why, is, and this is like a pillar foundation for network to net worth, is the currency of real networking is not greed, but service. How you'll build authentic, genuine relationships is with that servitude mindset. It's bringing value to others first and foremost. So you think of long-term, not short-term. So it's flipping that misconception of networking that is so sales-driven and selfish. You flip it, and that's how you build real
Absolutely.
alliances.
One of my icons and idols is Gary Vaynerchuk, and he always talks about in his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook, which was released years ago, but it's all about providing that value for a long time before you ever ask for a sale. So, when you're talking about your personal brand, you might not have a physical product that you're selling, but you might have a favor to ask or something that you want support for. And not even doing that until you've already established that value first. And that when you say that, that reminds me of that 10 times over again of how to really be able to provide the most value possible. Because that's how you build that trust and that authentic connection that lasts for a long time. If you just go in and ask for the sale, you might get the sale, but the person might not come back either because they have no connection otherwise. So,
and here is a perfect example of personal branding. I said, we talked about serving first, and bam, somebody popped up in your mind, and it was Gary Vee.
Yeah.
Because of his consistent message of how he shows up authentically, and this is what he does
100%.
every day.
100%. And I followed him since 2006. I think is when Crush It came out. But this is a really great example of tactically or strategically how to do this. I found him first when he was doing Wine Library TV, which he talks about now, as it was like a distant memory, but that's how I found him and started to really get to know him. And he didn't ask for a sale for years, I've been following him for 11, well, more than I'm bad at math on the fly, but and now every time he asks for something, he has a wine club, he has all these different pieces, and I support as much as I can because all the value that he's given to me over the years. So putting in that effort and that work and that service mindset first makes those authentic connections really shine.
Makes a whole difference. It makes a whole difference. Any more questions? I see Tara is on. Hi, Tara.
Hi, Tara.
Tara owns a fabulous skincare line that's ethical and natural. Brandy, Mint and Needle.
Brandy
is the number one med spa in Delaware, and she's going to be everywhere.
My gosh. I want Mint and Needle to be in Scottsdale, please. Thank you.
And in St. Petersburg, Florida.
And St. Pete too. We already have two needs. You got to bring it to us.
Yep. Me first.
And hi, Earth's Pharmacy. Hi to you too.
All right. Well, let us know if you have any more questions. I'm going to wrap it up real quick. I have actually one more question for you, Steph. And I think you want to touch on it. You said if there was the one thing that you take away from this webinar, Zoom call. We've been doing so many of those lately.
I know. I've been on video everywhere, so I don't even know what portal I'm in right now.
What day is it? It's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday?
I think it's Tuesday today, but I don't know. I figure it's a good day if I know what day it actually is, but that rarely happens right now, so who knows?
So your number one thing to take home with you, what would it be? Does that make sense in English?
My number one. I would say if I could put it in one sentence, deciding who you are and showing up as it every single day.
So good. So good. So I am going to wrap it up, unless I might not be seeing on my desktop. My desktop is low. See, he thinks it's a she, boss babe queen, thinks it's Sunday. But from what?
It could be. I don't know. It might be Sunday. I'm not sure.
It's some Sunday somewhere.
It's a day.
So number one, know who you are and what value you bring.
Yeah.
Number two, know your why. Number three, define your target entourage. Number four, choose the look of your brands. And number five, be intentional and apply this brand visit across all touch points, online and offline.
It's as simple as that.
As simple as that. We love you too, Alex. So we hope this has inspired you, shed some light on a new way of being. And what I mean by that is a new way to think, a new way of showing up for yourself authentically. You are your brand, and the way you show up, the more you are, the more magnetic your brand will be. So that would be my little take. And it's
I love
personal
it.
and professional. So thanks everyone for joining. Stephanie, a
Thank
huge
you for having
vibrant.
me. This was awesome.
It was amazing. I will be uploading this video on IGTV, so you'll be able to rewatch it on the replay.
Yay.
What was I
Hi,
going to say?
replay viewers. Thank you for watching too.
Thanks for watching. I'll put Stephanie's detail in the comment section. And if you know anyone who could benefit from this video that would really find added value in their personal brands, please do share. Share, tag them in the comment section, and it's 111. You can make a wish.
Make a wish.
Make a wish. So thanks everyone for joining. We love you.
Thank you so much.
Safe. Thanks again, Stephanie.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.